All right. So finally I've got a little more progress on this thing. I've got my old timing belt set up on it. I've got the cam timing off just a smidgen on the exhaust cam, but I'm able to turn the engine over by hand at least without anything interfering. I've been able to get the torque converter off the back of the engine. Everything looks like it's okay as far as the flex plate is concerned. Looks like everything's okay on the mounting bosses of the torque converter. I've got it set back into the transmission mounted on the stator shaft right now. And after doing a quick measurement between the mounting surface on the flex plate and the back of the engine, back of the engine spacer, and from same points on the torque converter to the transmission casing, and it looks like I've got an extra just over a quarter of an inch. Sorry guys, the camera's going to be shaking. I got a fly that's driving me nuts. Anyways, I've got just over a quarter of an inch of gap. So it very possibly looks like someone just bound the transmission up in the process of trying to install the transmission onto the engine with the torque converter on the engine. And the input bushing, the bushing on the torque converter that rides on the stator support does show a little bit of damage from what appears to have been somebody trying to wrestle a transmission onto it. So that may very well have been the whole problem of this poor engine. Going to try a dry fit of it here next, in the next few days or so. I'm not sure. We'll see. As it stands right now, I've got the cams all buttoned back up again. Like I said, I've got a little bit of assembly lube on there. You can see the assembly lube down there. I did make a mistake when I first put the cams back together, and I had gotten, first off, all of the cam bearing caps out of order, and I had gotten a couple of them reversed. So that bound the cams up then, and I thought I had a problem on the camshafts until I realized what I had done there. So I've got that corrected now also. So, any rate, I've got a few things to sort out as far as getting the transmission mounted back to the engine. There were some bolt holes, some tapped bolt holes on the transmission casing that were less than ideal. So I'm going to try and clean those up before I try the dry fit on this. But anyways, that's pretty much where I stand. And this is not exactly a simple engine to mate a transmission to, so I can kind of understand why a person would try that. I remember years ago, as a much younger man, doing that myself with a four-wheel drive. Years ago I had Chevy Blazers, and I was trying to get a Chevy 350 back into the engine bay, but I very foolishly mounted the torque converter on the engine and had a heck of a time wrestling it back into the transmission. I can't remember if I eventually gave up and put the torque converter back in the transmission like it's supposed to be, but anyways, let that be a lesson to anybody out there. This is not the way to do it, at least on this engine. Put the torque converter in your transmission and then mate your transmission and torque converter to your engine. So anyways, till next time.